This is Wake the Fuck Up Daily. Yes, we're going with that because why? It's who I am. And this message is for all of you women that have a colorful past, that think that your past or the way you think or the way you were brought up or anything makes you unworthy or disqualifies you from greatness. I'm here to tell you that you are here to be true to who you are. Okay, that's what this episode is about. Come on in. I'm going to share with you more about who I am, and if you know any woman that needs to hear this message, make sure to send this to her. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All right, this is Your Past Doesn't Disqualify You. All right, ladies, it does not disqualify you. Many women believe their past disqualifies them from confidence, from leadership, from faith or peace. You know, maybe you're someone different when no one's watching. Okay, that kind of thing actually drives me crazy about people. I used to call people out, people really close to me, when I would notice it. Like, if I'm filming you, you know, because I do a lot of content, if I'm filming you, be the same person you just were. You know, don't change it for the camera. And that goes for life. Like, we are who we are. Our experiences made us who we are. And so don't change who you are based on who's watching. Or, it could... Don't do that, okay? There's a reason you were brought here on this earth. God created you. Yahweh created you to be uniquely made in his image. So be true to you, okay? So in today's WTF Daily, we confront that lie, anchored in Book of Joshua 1:9 and Gospel of Thomas saying 3. This episode unpacks strength, courage, and wholeness, not as a personality trait, but as decisions of responsibility and alignment. Do you believe that you perform better, that you can live more alive when you are in alignment with who you truly are? I know I do. Okay, this message is especially for women who feel unworthy because of their past, believe they've made too many mistakes, have lived through trauma, shame, and survival, think faith is for clean stories, not theirs. Your past doesn't define your calling. It becomes part of your authority. Okay, your past becomes part of your authority when you stop hiding from it. I'm also going to bring up, and we're going to talk about some women in biblical times and how they might align with you and who they really were. Things that you weren't taught in church, in religion, okay? The scriptures that we're basing today's show on is be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Book of Joshua 1:9. And the kingdom inside you and is outside of you. Gospel of Thomas saying 3. Okay, the kingdom is already in you. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. If people really knew, what if the woman thinks to herself, if people really knew my story, they'd never listen to me. Do you think that way? Okay, today's truth is simple and freeing. I'm hoping this sets you free. Your past does not disqualifies you. It prepares you. All right. So Joshua is told, be strong and courageous. In Hebrew, chaz, whatever. Okay, I don't know what it says. CHAZAQ. All right, that's a Hebrew word, and that's why I don't know exactly what it is. Chaz ache. Doesn't mean hype yourself up. It means to take hold, to firm up, and steady yourself. Thank you for joining. Say hi. And Matt's courage is not a personality trait. It's an act of resolve. Strength and courage are decisions, not emotions. All right, we're going to integrate the authority principle, okay? In early teachings, echoed in the Gospel of Thomas, we hear The kingdom is inside of you and outside of you. That's not mystical confusion, it's integrity. So what you believe inward must match how you live outwardly. Get it? So be the same person in all places. That's how he made you to be. You don't have to change who you are when the cameras are on or when different people show up. Just be you. Just be you. Then you don't ever have to pretend, right? Fragmentation weakens women and wholeness strengthens us. So just to give you a little backstory, okay, this is where I need to be honest with you. My backstory isn't polished. It's very colorful. I've told you it's colorful, right? Parents divorced when I was in second grade. Okay. It kind of was a little crazy during that time. My mom went on welfare. We moved a lot. I went to 7 different elementaries. We had when I was in third grade, we had what do you call it? A home invasion with guns pointing at us and me screaming bloody murder, literally. And one guy with the nylon over his head said, "Shut her up." And so he put his black glove over my mouth and, kind of traumatizing, I was, it was pretty crazy. My siblings that are younger, they don't remember that. And in between third and fourth grade, I was sex trafficked. Okay. So that was a weird summer. Okay. And then I was pregnant at 16, had my daughter at 17. I dropped out of high school. I lived through trauma most people never talk about. Okay. We kind of like push it down and maybe we just pretend it never happened. But I think when you can actually talk about it and be true to who you are and how what made you who you are, then it's like freeing. It's liberating. You can be alive. It's amazing. And I want that for you. Okay. So that home invasion, the gunpoint, the exploitation, survival choices, I felt, I once felt shame of. And I went on welfare for a little bit, There was a time when my life didn't look like faith approved. It was very different because I had friends that went to church. And I would go to their house and their house was very different than my house. They had Sunday. I remember Vanessa. She lived across the street from my dad. And this was when they were still together. And I was in like kindergarten. And I would go to their house sometimes for dinner. And on Sundays, they all sit at the table and they said a prayer and then they ate. And it was very reverent, like, I used that term the other day. And it was so different. But it was peaceful, it wasn't that I didn't like it. I felt like, oh, this is so different. At my house, it was just like, we're kind of rowdy, we're like very different. We just didn't always sit, when we had dinner with my dad on Sundays, even when they got divorced, we're just like, I don't know, very different. We talk about whatever, we cuss, we're not like your typical religious family because we didn't go to church. We just were ourselves, but when I would go to someone else's house, it was very different. It was like, fold your arms. Anyway, I grew up in Utah, and those of you that know Utah know there's a huge religious culture here. And so I just noticed a lot of different ways of growing up. And I always felt like we were so off. Like I didn't invite a lot of people over to our house. I don't know if they can handle it, So there was a time my life didn't look faith approved. But here's the truth. None of that disqualified me. None of it. My dad drank beer or made screwdrivers at dinner and, like we were very different, It taught me discernment. It taught me responsibility. And it taught me how systems fail people and how clarity can save them. Because and then I also grew up with friends later that grew up in the church, and it was almost like this is what I saw, that they almost had to be so perfect when people were watching because that's how they were raised. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't let people know this is who I am because I wouldn't be accepted, because their life was so strict that they had to pretend anywhere else. Does that make sense? And maybe they had one or two friends that they could be themselves. They could be who they really wanted to be, but that was it, you know? And so that's just, it's almost like living bottled up. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like they went even more wild because they were told they had to be so perfect and so reverent, like, and so not themselves, I guess, that when they had opportunities, they would just go buck wild. You know, like, turn up, and literally, you know, like drinking in the closet, you know, doing anything they could get their hands on because we can't have that. Like, I want to have that. Why? You know, everything was so strict that they just kind of went nuts when they didn't think anyone was watching. Okay. Well, I want to tell you that Yahweh did not erase my past, and he didn't erase yours. He redeemed it. I want you to know I was an OnlyFans girl. Okay. I have a very colorful life. I want you to know that that doesn't disqualify you if that's who you are. Okay. Confidence is not pretending you were never broken. Confidence is standing whole. You don't need to erase your story to be worthy. You don't need to clean it up to be used. You don't need to hide it to be faithful. What disqualifies women is not their past. It's their fragmentation, because you can't be yourself. You know what I'm saying? You almost feel like you're broken because you have to be this way in front of these people and this way in front of these people, and it just feels off. It's not in alignment. So that's not a way to live. Okay, so when your inner knowing doesn't match your outer life, integrity is wholeness. Okay, just be you. Live in integrity. Okay, today, what you can do is identify one place where you know that's true, but you're not living it yet, and correct it calmly, clearly, without any drama. That's courage in action. And I want to talk to you just quickly before I want to talk about some of these women in the Bible. Okay. Mary Magdalene, not disqualified by her past. Okay. She is one of the most misunderstood women in scripture. What we do know from her is that she lived through deep trauma. Luke 8:2 speaks of her being freed from severe affliction. She became one of Yahshua's most faithful followers. I watched a YouTube show about that just over the weekend. She was present at a crucifixion when many others fled. So she was loyal to him, you know. She was the first witness of the resurrection in John 20. And what matters is how Yahshua treated her. He didn't reduce her to her past. He did not shame her publicly. He entrusted her with truth and responsibility. So if you're a woman with complex, you know, painful or misunderstood past who is not erased, but you are positioned based on who you are. Okay, you were made in the image of Yahweh. You be true to you. Okay, he made you uniquely made. Uniquely made. So whatever that is you. Okay? So you are positioned to find your tribe based on who you are. Trauma did not define her ceiling. Faith and clarity refined her identity. I don't care who it is. If someone tells you you need to be different, you need to cut them off. You know what I mean? Because they don't understand the truth. Okay, religion has not been forthright, has not told people this. They tell you have to do this. You have to, you know what I mean? They're almost telling you not to be who you truly are. Really? You know? The Samaritan woman, let's talk about her. Seen without condemnation. That's funny. Condemnation. In John 4, Yahshua meets a woman with a complicated relational history. So here's what's important about her. He names the truth of her life without shaming her. He does not tell her to disappear or stay silent. He speaks to her as a thinking, discerning adult, and she becomes a messenger to her community. This gives me chills to read these about these women. Joshua does not say, "You're unworthy." He says, essentially, "You're ready for truth." A woman whose life didn't fit the approval mode, you know, for what religion says, or anyone that tells you to be a certain way or not to think or use your brain or be true to who you really are, that's not in alignment. Those people, they have been conditioned as well. Okay, understand that. Joshua meets her, okay, meets her in her clarity and not condemnation. That word is funny to me. He doesn't excuse her past, but he also doesn't weaponize it. Rahab, okay, we're going to talk about her. A woman whose past did not cancel her future. Rahab's story, Joshua 2, is one of the clearest examples of trajectory change. Here's the facts about her. She lived in stigmatized role. She made a courageous, discerning decision. She protected others. She aligned herself with truth. She became part of the lineage that leads to Yahshua. In Matthew 1, you can read more about that. Scripture never pretends her past didn't exist. It shows that discernment and responsibility change everything. So know that, you know, if you're a woman who's, you know, your early survival choices didn't define, or even my past didn't define my destiny, and it's not going to define yours. It only does if you continue to believe that you have to be quiet, that you have to be who you think other people want you to be. You know, wisdom, courage, and alignment is where you need to live. Okay. How Joshua constantly saw women. This is across all the Gospels, okay? He speaks directly to women, answers their questions seriously, entrusts them with truth, did not infantilize them, does not shame their bodies or histories, and does not require them to erase their story to be worthy. What he does require is honesty, responsibility, and willingness to live aligned. That's the common thread. And so any of you ladies that feel like you have a colorful past, that feel like you have to not share it, that feel like you have to be different depending on who's in the room, I'm speaking to you. Okay, you are worthy just who you are. Okay, you don't need to be molded into something someone else wants you to be. That's exactly how Joshua restored women, and not pretending they were never broken, but by refusing to let brokenness be their final word. And so I hope that message touches you. I want to touch a little bit on authenticity, okay? I was reading up on what does the Bible say on authenticity, you know, because I think that a lot of people are afraid to be authentic. Hey, I've been there. I've been one of them. So you're not alone. Okay. Here's a good example. My Wake WTF Daily. Okay. I was thinking I needed to keep it as Wake the Families Up. But in my brain, that's not really what I'm thinking. Okay. Or then yesterday I was listening to a podcast and I thought, oh, maybe I can replace families with fire because I ignite fire in women. Well, that's not really what I was thinking either. What I was really thinking is, wake the fuck up. Because that's what I was really thinking, you know? And I use that word, not all the time, but sometimes I use the word intentionally, okay? And so why am I trying to soften what I really mean? Do you get it? Okay? So let's talk about a little bit about what the Bible talks about on authenticity quickly, and then I'll say an ending prayer. They don't talk about these things in church. So we got to talk about this. Okay? So the Bible doesn't use modern word authenticity, but it teaches the concept constantly and in a much deeper way than just be yourself. Bible authenticity is not self-expression. It's integrity, congruence, and wholeness, being the same person everywhere because you know who God made you to be. Here are the clearest scriptures that speak directly to us, followed by what they mean for the modern woman. Okay? Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So regardless of what you think other people want or want you or expect you to show up like, okay, it doesn't matter what people think about you. It matters that Yahweh knows your heart. Okay? You have a good heart. That's what's important, okay? And that's in Samuel 1:16, verse 16, scripture 7. Is that how you say it? Authenticity means internally, not performatively. God is not impressed by image management, people pleasing. See, that's what I was doing. Okay? Don't ever people please because it causes you to be fragmented, okay? To be out of alignment. You're not whole when you're softening things up or when you're not saying what you truly mean. God is not impressed by image management, people pleasing. Code switching to fit rooms. He evaluates who you are when no one is watching. Biblical authenticity is inner truth over outward approval. This is fire to me right now. Being the same person everywhere. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That's Matthew 5:37. The meaning of that is this is about consistency of your identity. And for the authentic woman, you don't need to over-explain. You don't need to shape-shift. You don't need to betray yourself to keep the peace for other people. Okay? You're welcome here. If you feel like your religion or your church or those leaders or any organization out there or institution isn't going to accept you, I want you to know you're accepted here. Yeah. I don't care if you're a guy or a woman. All right? Your words match your convictions and boundaries match your values. This is mature authenticity. For you formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. How powerful is that? Okay, he already knows who you are. He knew who you were going to become. He knew all your experiences that you agreed to. Okay, that's in there. They don't talk about these things. Authenticity is not self-invention. It's self-acceptance of divine design. You were divinely designed. You don't need to become someone else to be effective. You don't need to stop abandoning who you already are. Biblically, rejecting your design is not humility, it's misalignment. We don't need to be misaligned. Okay, so whoever walks in integrity walks securely. That's Proverbs 10:9. Look at all these scriptures that speak on this. And people may not have even, they might have passed by it and not even realized, like, they're not living in integrity. It's like the LDS bishop that tells you that you can't go through the temple because you drink tea sometimes, yet he's drinking Monsters like crazy and going to fast food and he's overweight. Okay? You can't, it just doesn't make sense to me. So when you are authentic, you're not anxious about being exposed. You're not managing multiple versions of yourself. Like, be yourself in all places, right? You don't need to have different, oh, I got to be like this in front of these people. I got to be like this in front of these people. I got to be like, no, oh, that's exhausting. You're not afraid of truth catching up. You don't ever have to be afraid because, oh, they're going to find out who I really am. Find out who I am. I'm not even scared. I've been through enough. Okay? I've been by myself for a long damn time. I'm not afraid. You don't want to be around me? Good. Go. Have that attitude, okay? Security comes from wholeness, not control. If people can't handle you, let them go. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's Romans 2:12. You guys, look, it's all over within the Bible and teachings. The meaning of that is authenticity requires I love this. Deconditioning. Okay, we are deconditioning who this world made you to be. Okay, we are unlearning, deconditioning, ripping all those old beliefs out and starting new. Boom. Don't you love that? Oh, I freaking love that. Many women are not inauthentic because they're fake, but because they've been trained to survive, comply, and blend. Transformation restores you to who you were before pressure taught you to perform. Oh, this is so fucking good, isn't it? Paul, the authentic leadership. By the opening statement of the truth, we commend ourselves to everyone's conscience. That's 2 Corinthians 4:2. The meaning of that is authentic leaders don't manipulate perception. They speak plainly, they live visibly, they trust truth to do the work. This is why your voice, your uniqueness is going to resonate with your people. And so you do not need to polish who you are based on what you think other people need from you. Got it? Biblical authenticity. Here's what it is summed up. Okay, being internally ordered, externally consistent, be the same thing, same places, same person in all places, no matter who's around. Okay, grounded in your truth, aligned with your design, the same woman in private and public. Not loud, not rebellious, not performative. You're just whole. You're just being true to who you are. Biblical authenticity isn't about expressing yourself. It's about refusing to betray yourself. I've talked about this so much. Like, there's women out there that are so upset over a guy that they feel like he betrayed her, or this church betrayed me, or this leader betrayed me, or the government betrayed me, or, they talk about all these things, okay? People are betraying themselves. How crazy is that? They don't even think about that. People are betraying themselves because they are placing blame on other people when they're not even being true to who they really are. You betray yourself when you don't take care of your body. You betray yourself when you don't eat right. You betray yourself when you're not doing all the things that you know that you're capable of doing. You betray yourself when you sit there and tell your kids, do this, do this, do this, and then you don't do it. Okay? You're betraying yourself. God doesn't need you to reinvent yourself. He just needs you to stop pretending. Stop pretending that you're this one way and not this. You get what I'm saying, right? When you're not being the same person in all places. Okay, and here's why this matters right now. If you're an impact builder and you're a mother, maybe you don't realize you're an impact builder, but you are. Okay, so you're either tearing things down or you're going to build them. Children learn identity by observation. Families learn strength by example, and communities are shaped by women who are internally congruent. An authentic woman doesn't outsource her values, doesn't fracture under pressure, and doesn't disappear in different rooms. She becomes trustworthy. People know what to expect. They know who she is, and it's going to repel the ones that don't align with her. I would rather have people around me that love me my authentic self. They love me who I am. They love that, I might cuss sometimes. They love that I'm a little sexy sometimes. They love that I maybe talk about sex sometimes. They love me that I'm also faith-based. They love all of me. I'm passionate. Okay? If so I hope that helps a little bit, help you understand more about what the teachings are and what was expected but wasn't taught to us in church or religion, right? Do you guys have questions? Let's see. I might have to put my glasses on for this. The print is so small. Hold on. When my friend came to my house, I felt bad when my friend came to my house and it was a mess. You know what? Then you just say, it's a mess today. I get what you're saying though. I would always accept you. Oh, thank you, Gabrielle. I felt bad because I never tell my friends. My grandma was from Transylvania. Oh, really? Have you seen 600-Pound Life? It hurt my heart. I haven't, but that sounds like someone that weighs 600 pounds. That would hurt my heart that they. Hello, hello. Oh, thank you. Oscar. Great to see you guys. Like atheism and paganism. I've never heard of that. Paganism. See, I'm still learning. What do I think about other religions? I think it's a business, to be honest. I think they've made religion a business, and they just want people to be controlled, and it was their way to create followers based on what they wanted to have in their teaching. They don't want you to think. They wanted to create non-thinkers, and they didn't want them to walk with Yahweh, to know that they were already whole, that they were already uniquely made in the image of God. Like they have the power within them. They can be independent, thinkers. I think it was more about control and creating a business. That's my belief. I think that you can be faith-based and have business. I just don't like the idea of forcing people to live your way, your teachings. You can't do this, you can't drink coffee, you can't drink tea, you can't do all these things when I think as far as like bad food and stuff like that, I think that you need to have you have to live responsibly. That sugar feeds disease, so you're going to have it very in moderation, like sugar, very moderation, you got to be really careful with that. I think we just need to think like, how is this going to affect my body? Like, I don't need someone to tell me what it's going to do. Our bodies, it's like already proven how food affects our body. And so I just think we have to think. But if someone was to tell me that because I had some coffee, I can't go through their temple, like they're controlling me. Okay. Especially when behind the scenes, they're a little, they're eating Big Macs and energy drinks and all these. It's all a control thing. Like, let's see how we can control the masses. That's how I feel. I want people to be true to themselves. I want them to, understand how everything we consume, whether it's what we read or watch or listen to or everything that we do, like it